It is Luke and Naomi, and we are joined by a very special guest. We said we are going to start bringing some interesting people in, and we are fortunate enough to have met Jorge Mijares from DR and the founder, right, of CSC Caribbean Surf
Yeah.
Connection. All
Hi
right,
guys,
man.
how
Well,
you doing?
welcome in,
First of
welcome in.
all,
So we've got
thank you
some,
for having me on the show.
yeah, for sure. We've got some cool stuff that you're going to tell us about in a minute, but we are bringing back a cool feature that we like, and that is our icebreaker question. So we want to ask you
We used to
some,
do this all the time. Every single
yes,
time that we had someone come in for the show,
Uh-huh.
before we would get into the nitty gritty, all the good stuff, you have to
Mhm.
deal with these ridiculous questions first.
Okay, cool.
are you ready? And they're
Yes, I'm
ridiculous.
ready.
So we'll start off with an easy one. We do our movie recaps, of course. So what is your all-time favorite movie?
Uh, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Good
Nice.
answer. All right. I thought you were going to say Point Break. I'm serious.
Beetlejuice, man. Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Right on. Great answer. Love that.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. If you could only have potatoes fixed for you one way for the rest of your life, one style of potatoes, one dish, what are you going with?
Potato skins.
Potato skins. That's a very unique
Nice.
answer. A lot
I
of
was
people go,
assuming French fries.
yeah,
No,
a lot of
potato
people go
skins
French
with
fries and
bacon
stuff.
and cheese and sour cream, and let's go.
All
If you don't want the sour
right.
cream, you take it off.
My
When you don't want the
man.
bacon, you take it off. When you don't want the cheese, you take it off.
That's right. Man, you fit in right in perfectly with Luke and Naomi and all of our listeners and all that stuff. That's
Yes,
great.
yes.
All right, let's see what else we got for you. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Um, the power to heal people.
The power to that,
Oh,
my man. See, I'm telling you, we find the most interesting and amazing people, and Jorge, who also, AKA El Poopy, if you hear us calling him that, that is his nickname. But that's an awesome answer. That might be like the most like touching answer I think we've ever had for that. That's
right?
cool, man.
Most of
Right
the
on.
time, people are like, I want to be invisible or I want to fly or something. And you have like a genuinely like great answer.
I love that one, man. I love excellent answer. Okay,
Yeah.
another ridiculous food one. You can only have one for the rest of your life. You got to pick one: bacon or cake.
Bacon.
That is the correct
All
answer.
right.
Naomi used to keep a running tally, and the people who said cake were like, "Okay, we get it," but it's bacon.
It's bacon.
It's bacon. All
Bacon's a
right.
good answer.
If you could either talk to animals or speak every language, what would you go with?
Talk to animals.
Talk
Probably
to
learn a lot
animals.
from
Yeah,
animals.
yeah. A lot of people, I think, go with the animal answer. It's a great one. I would love to be able to, fish and birds and all that stuff. That'd be
Yeah,
really
you can
cool.
talk to birds, see what you see, it's cool.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Cool.
All right, last question, and then we'll get into important stuff. If you could instantly be an expert at one thing, what would it be?
Uh, wow, that's a tough one.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we like to save it for last. We get you, all thinking about. We get you all baconed up, and then you.
I would be a expert mechanic because I could
Mechanic.
travel anywhere in the world and always have a job.
All right.
That's
Yeah,
smart.
that is. I like that.
Wow.
Great
All
answer,
right.
man. Great. All right, you're off the hot seat. Let's get to the let's get to the important stuff. We've told our listeners a lot about the Caribbean Surf Connection and the work you do with the stuff that you have going on. We just wanted you to tell everybody in your own words, why you started it and what exactly it is.
Okay. Well, basically, I started Caribbean Surf Connection in 2021. I had a buddy from Florida named Gnarly Charlie. He does a lot of like surf contests for kids. And for about 6 or 7 years, there were no contests in the island at all. There would be maybe one contest a year, if that. But for a long time, there was no contest. So we kind of had no idea of what the surf level was with the kids in the ages of 5 to like 16 years old. Like we knew the kids in our zone, but we didn't know if there was any other kids in any other zones. So I teamed up with Charlie, and it was October 2021, and we did our first event. And it was pretty cool because we were promoting it for like 3 months and like no response, you know? So we're like, all right, whatever. It's gonna bomb, but it's cool. We're
Yeah.
still gonna have an event. It's gonna be for kids. We're gonna have fun, whatever. And then the day of the event, the day before the event in the morning, because we usually have a pre-party. Like if the event starts Saturday, Friday night, we have like a pre-party where we give like the t-shirts out to the kids and have like a cool like interaction. And I show up to the beach to check the waves on that Friday, and the parking lot is packed, like with a bunch of cars. And I was like, and I told Charlie, I'm like, Charlie, look at all these people. He's like, dude, there's a lot of people here. And our first contest had 55 people,
Wow.
55 kids. And it was cool because there was a lot of different areas of the country where we know that there's waves and there's consistent like certain locals and stuff like that. But it was cool to see like the young kids from those areas make the trek and try to come to meet up with us so they could all meet. And then in 2022, I saw the need for the kids because it was like a cool experience, to see all these kids that have never seen each other, but they're all living in the same island and they all surf and they're all into surfing and they get to all get together and have like fun, it was cool. So the following year, the concept was let's try to help kids in places that can't get to us. So we're in Cabarete in the North Coast, right? Which is like one of the most consistent waves that there is on the island. But there's, like I said, there's a lot of waves in the different part of the islands. And then there's some kids that have enough money or sponsor to come, but there's some kids that don't. So my idea was kind of like, if they can't come to us, let's go to them and we'll find the money and we'll figure out the way to go to where they're at. And then what we'll do is that we'll include the kids from this area that have never been there and the kids from the other parts of the country that have never been to that zone, so that everybody goes to like a new zone and gets to check out a new wave that they wouldn't know about if I wasn't having a contest there, because they wouldn't have like the logistics, or it just wouldn't be a thing to like, oh, let's go check some new thing. They go to the same beach they go to every day. And then
Right.
I started seeing that it kind of formed like the kids would follow me, event to event. I started in Cabarete, my first event. Then I went to Las Terrenas, and everybody went to Las Terrenas. Then I went to like Playa Las Canas, everybody went to Las Canas, and like every area I would go to, everybody would come. When I went to the South Coast the first time, it was like, oh, you're crazy, South Coast, 4 hour drive, blah, blah. But showed up there. We ended up having like 120 people. Because usually
Wow.
when I do go to the South Coast, some of the times I include a open category
Oh, okay.
for the
Yeah.
adults, because there's not that many contests down there in the South, and there's a large group of people. So just to have like a cool event at their beach, I put the category, open men, open women, mixed. So everybody just have fun. It's like a big family beach weekend is what I kind of dreamed, or I ideated about it. My whole thing was, like I said, give the kids a weekend away from their regular life. My whole thing is, it doesn't matter if your mom drives a Mercedes or if your mom has a motorcycle. For 15 minutes, you're in the water. Let's see who surfs the best.
There
And
you
That's
go.
that's
awesome. Yeah.
Let's go. I love it, man. That is just wonderful. You do some amazing work for kids. Can you tell us a little bit about, other than the surfing and things like that, you have told us, off air and stuff like that about the need for gear and things like that. So tell us a little bit about how you
yeah.
help out the kids there.
This this past month in April, before our event in Nagua, which was actually a new spot that we had never been to
Oh,
before,
cool.
so it's pretty cool. We did a board drive in town, and we gathered about 21 boards, a boogie board and a soft top as well. It came with like 23 items. And we drove down to the South Coast, which is about 4.5 hours from Cabarete. And the situation with that zone is that it's very isolated. So they don't have like the same, they won't find the same gear as easy as we will up here.
Yeah,
So
right.
to keep the kids stoked, in the zone and keep them in the water and stuff like that, it was
You
a
keep them out
cool,
of trouble, right?
yeah, because everybody knows if you're bored and you ain't got nothing to do, you're gonna get yourself into some kind of trouble, you know?
Yep.
So it's kind of like I had about 5 or 6 boards here that I'd had donated from other people previously. So I was kind of like, let me try to make a quick group up, in Cabarete and have a couple other surf schools help me make that dream come true. And it was cool. We were down there for 3 days. We took a bunch of clothes. We went to the beach. We saw the kids. They were doing like little practicing surf lessons. They were like super stoked going through like all the clothes. One person's
Yeah,
trash is person's a treasure. So things you might have at home that you think are trash, to somebody else, dude. Those shoes you got in the corner, they go a long way down here.
yeah, for sure. Which is part of the reason why we did our big, our first ever charity drive with Luke and Naomi
Exactly. You guys,
for
you
the
guys helped us
CSC.
out with a lot of stuff, a lot for that trip too. Gas, supplies, clothes for the kids, you know, because we
Yeah,
had to ship some of that clothes because I usually get some of the clothes from the United States shipped to Miami, and then from Miami I have to ship it here.
yeah, that's right.
So kind of some of that went to that too. So it was cool, you guys helped us out.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. Our pleasure, of course,
you were
man.
a part of our drive, and you guys are a part of our dream. You guys have the same ideas that we have, and we both think alike on certain things, especially with the kids, and it's
Yes.
it's cool to see that.
Yeah, for sure, man. The stuff you do for kids is just wonderful. It's inspiring. We
It's
love the fact that
unbelievable,
it
when
really
we
is.
hear about all the great things that you're doing and just the differences that you're making in kids' lives. It may seem, you know, like it's not this huge thing where it's, some clothes or whatnot, but that can be the biggest difference. That could take a kid from, like you said, getting into trouble and finding out, hey, I like surfing, and if I get into trouble, I can't do this. So, you know what? I'm
Exactly.
gonna,
That is one of, I I also I'm kind of like stepdad to like a lot of kids because there's a lot of kids down here that don't, they come from either broken down homes or single parent families. So they don't have like that father figure or maybe that mother figure there where like my wife comes in, you know. So some of these kids, they've never had anybody support them basically. So when
Yeah.
they meet somebody that's like, look, I got you, like I got your back, I'm gonna help you out, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that for them. It kind of takes like a little bit for them to get used to that because they're not used to it, but it builds a bond that is priceless, because
Yeah.
you see the change in these kids, and one of the things that I also use is like you said, travel. Just because you don't have an American visa does not mean you cannot travel from Dominican Republic to another place where there's waves. You go to Nicaragua, you go to El Salvador, where there's amazing waves, and I kind of tell them like, if you get in trouble and you get arrested and you start doing bad stuff, guess what? You're not gonna have a passport. You don't have a passport, you're stuck. You can't go
that's
surf,
right.
you can't go travel, you can't go see the world. This is all you're gonna see. Now, if you play smart, you don't get yourself into trouble, you save a little bit of cash, the world is yours. And then these kids aren't used to hearing that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like they're used to hearing like, oh, you're gonna be this or you're gonna be that, and I just try to like make a cool weekend, for all the kids. Come together, meet kids from different areas. It's cool to see the kids how they'll come to an event, they'll meet kids from a different zone, and then the next event, I'll see like they're all friends and playing together, and then they're surfing together, and then I'll go to the next event, and then I'll hear that some of the kids from one area that had never gone to another area took the bus because the waves are good, and they their kids and they scored for like the weekend, and it's cool to see like the connection that
That's right.
and the growth and the culture, the surfing culture that Caribbean Surf Connection is giving to these kids, because we start off with whitewater. My youngest competitor was 3 years old, and
Wow.
And we start in the whitewater, basically to build, the courage. You're in the ocean, it moves, it's alive, whitewater is kind of you with your mom or your dad in the water, they're pushing you, or now we try to get a caddy for you. Then we move up to the open water, uh, open open pushing category, which is kind of for the kids that are a little bit more advanced than the whitewater, but they're not advanced to be able to paddle out by themselves. And then
Okay.
we have the 8 to 11 category where they paddle out by themselves, or they could paddle out with a caddy. You just can't push him, in the waves.
Okay. Yep.
Then we have 12 to 14, and then 15 to, it's actually 18 because they start the surf year at 17 and they turn 18, they could finish the season. I allow them
Cool.
to finish the season.
That's awesome, man. So, all this stuff you got going on, it sounds amazing. We can't wait to get down there and be able to be at an event. But what do you
Yeah,
have? What do you have coming up? We want to pump up whatever you've got coming up the rest of the year. What is your big things? What's on the
I have
horizon?
I have June 20, Saturday, June 27th, 28th in the South Coast again, in this beach called Ponqueta. This town is called Nisao. Um, it's a pretty cool event. We're gonna have a cool beach party. We're probably gonna have a bonfire, a traditional bonfire. We started this last event as we also started a traditional beach heat. When I came out with beach heat at the last event, everybody's looking at me like, what's a beach heat? Well, let me explain to you what a beach heat is.
I'm
A
excited.
beach is when we stop the event and for 30 minutes, everybody that's at the beach does a beach cleanup for 30 minutes and everybody partakes in the beach heat.
I love
We're
this.
done with
That's
that.
fantastic.
Once we're done with that, then we continue with the event.
That's great. And then in the name too, it's like throwing a little cool name on the beach
Beach
cleanup. I
heat,
like that. Yeah,
I
you know?
I
love
like that.
it. And you're helping out the community. You're helping out Mother Nature and, just
Because
everything all around.
I left something out. So we're making metals out of all the recycled
Oh,
glass that we get in the beach. So the beach heat cleanup goes towards the metals for our next
Wow.
event coming up in June.
that is so cool. What a great idea,
Reduce,
man.
reuse, recycle.
That's right. Wow,
I
awesome.
am blown away with all the
Awesome.
things you are doing. Not again helping out with the cleanup, cleaning up the beaches, helping out Mother Nature, helping out these kids who would not be exposed to this, or even like you had mentioned before, the connections. Kids making friends with other kids and having a different life. All of this stuff that you're doing, I'm just blown away.
I love the new
um,
perspective that you give them. That's so cool.
yes. So the
Appreciate it.
big thing is too, how about everyone who wants to get involved? We've got quite a few listeners who, may not be able to make their way to DR or whatnot. What what could they do that would benefit you guys?
They could contact us through Instagram would probably be the best bet. We're usually on Instagram or Facebook. If they want to give us any donations, any clothes or anything, they could just contact us. I could give them our shipping address in South Florida, Miami, and
Perfect.
be sure to pick that up and bring it over here and give it to the kids. Um, and the idea is kind of to if you involve yourself with us, we want to involve ourselves with you. So we want you to kind of see everything we're kind of doing behind the scenes. When we're in the events, we'll send you pictures and stuff like that. So you can see the kids that are there, the new kids that are there, what our t-shirts look like, stuff like that. Tag you in all our comments and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah,
That's awesome.
add the connections, right? Add the
That's-
connections. That's great.
Yeah,
I
Caribbean
love it.
Caribbean Surf Connection is about connecting not only kids in the Dominican Republic, but connecting kids all over the world. My events last year we had, I think it was 26 different countries.
Wow.
So it's cool to see the numbers grow. The year before, I believe we had 23. The year before that, I believe we had 17. So it's cool to see, it's going to be our fifth solid year, sixth year actually, but our fifth solid year. So within the last 4 years, I've seen it really grow, and I've seen the surfing change a lot in the kids on the island. You see a lot of up and coming kids with the talent, and it's cool. It's cool to see.
Right on, man. Is there you have a website? I mean, we'll share all your socials and links and all
Yeah,
that, but
our website is www.caribbeansurfconnection.org.
org. That's really CaribbeanSurfConnection.org. That's what you got to
And
remember. Again, we will definitely share
and
all
then
the links.
in our webpage, we have a page where we have the breakdown costs of all of our events. So you could have I like to be crystal clear with
Yeah,
things. So you could go on our page and you can see basically, what it costs for each kid to go to the event, what we spend the money on, what we spend our cost on, a breakdown basically of what we put your donations into with our events.
awesome, awesome. Um, do you got anything, Naomi? Did you want to ask about Poopy? Do you have anything you want to add? Anything we didn't ask you? Anything we didn't touch on that you want to make sure everybody knows?
Check out my vlog videos with Ben Gravy, Dominican Republic. It's pretty sick. We did 3 or 4 videos. We made history. We surfed the border between Dominican Republic and Haiti.
Ooh.
So that was pretty cool to check out.
History and
Wow.
and maybe a little tension there.
Yeah, we got arrested for about a couple hours. It was cool.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Hey man, you got to go check out the videos. You find out more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness.
All right,
Uh,
man. I think that's all we've got for you. Unless Naomi's got something. Any questions? Anything you think we missed?
no, I'm still in awe, just the connection of everything and just all the great things that are being done and can't wait to be a part of it even more.
Heck yeah.
So
Kopi, thank you so much, man. We appreciate all the stuff you do for kids, and of course, taking the time to talk with us and show that we actually do know you. We've been talking about you so
yes,
long, and the
yes.
donations and all of that stuff, man. Appreciate what you do,
Guys,
and
thank you everybody. I appreciate you guys for all your help. Stoked.